Hello, welcome to another video where I will dive deep into the depths of the heart to retrieve a body of wisdom that is pertinent to the present moment. And today I'm here to talk about fragmentation, disintegration, and in the depths of this display to emerge the fruits of the individual, to reclaim the original essence of your existence, of your being, and to complete the sacred act, to adhere to a heavenly law, and to ultimately bridge the gap between heaven and earth. So, to begin on this, we must first establish the initial process of disintegration, the emergence of fragmentation, the beginning of a tension between the self and the perceived self, founded upon the beliefs and based upon the beliefs and expressions of tradition, of society, of the external. To understand that from a young age, for survival, we sacrifice the self to live in safety, to live in the bosom of the family, and to understand it as a necessary survival mechanism that at a young age we can't stand alone, we can't stand on our own bedrock of our own ideals, expression of our essence, that we have to put away with that initially in order to be attached to the body of the family and also to the body of social circles, to learn about the world, to integrate into the world, to be part of tradition, to be part of society, to learn. But naturally we all fulfill a sacrifice in that integration into the world, which is a sacrifice of the self, of the individual, of the original expression within, to integrate into the family, to integrate into society, into social groups, which is natural. And that upon maturation, as we get older and we are confronted with the self that pulls up to the surface, those fragmented parts, those parts of us we were informed were totally part of the family or society or the friendship groups, and we at that time have to decide whether we branch out into the individual to feel that fragmentation, to connect to its expression, to realize the fruits of our individuality, or whether we remain in the comfort of the bosom of the family, of society, of tradition, and we hide from the individual, we hide from the feeling of the fragmented individual, from the individual who feels unworthy. And that decision will either adhere to a sacred law or offend a sacred law, because there is the human laws we abide to, but there is also a sacred law, one which most offend, which is to not reclaim their original essence, their individuality that we all sacrifice from a young age to, as I said, to survive. And those that upon maturation fail to branch out, fail to reclaim those parts of themselves which for survival reasons were discarded, those who fail to integrate those parts offend most certainly a sacred law, and thus live eternally on the earthly and fail to realize the heavenly, which affects the individual as it does the collective. And to understand that there is utility to family and to tradition and to society and to friendship, to social circles, but not at the cost of your own path, of your own originality. And to reach into a fragmentation, to take time to feel, to reconnect, to understand your own journey of disintegration in order to reintegrate, to remember your own unique process of disintegration, and to go back into the genesis of your path to establish what you discarded and why you discarded, and whether what you discarded was a sacrifice that needs to be upheld, or whether there is a part of you that now calls to revive that part of you, regardless of the discomforts and the fears associated, to know that to pursue that path is a sacred one and will be supported as such. To pursue the path of unification, to go in deliberately, willingly into your fragmented self, and in that action hold in your mind's eye the goal for unification, to hold in your mind's eye the intention of adhering to the sacred laws of existence, which call to your original essence now, and to know that you don't have to sacrifice, you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater upon your own unique path, to know that there is a balance, to know that upon reclaiming your individual status and expression, to then use it as a tool to serve and to reintegrate. So there's almost this coming into the world, you're integrating into the world, but disintegrating yourself, and then you leave the world, society, to then disintegrate from society, to integrate into yourself, to then having the middle way where you're integrated the individual in service to the tradition, to society. So there's this sort of feeling out process as we come into the world, and then we leave the world and we come back into the self and to the world, to be in partnership with, for there to be that reunification of heaven and earth, or between the individual and society. And to find that balance is key, because from a young age we fall into the bosom of the family, but then those will then find replica forms of the family in society as they mature. If they avoid the individual, they'll just sacrifice the individual to be part of a collective, because they don't want to feel the fragmentation, the fears, the uncertainties of the self. You know, from a young age, it's incredibly painful and incredibly scary. You know, as a child, as a baby, we are completely at the mercy of our immediate supporting mechanism, and we carry that fear throughout, deep within us. And the sacrifice we have to make to survive is painful, although we're not conscious of it. That pain is deep within us, and the existential fear of that age stays with us also, that is attached to the sacrifice, and that you have to revisit in order to revive and to restore and to reintegrate, and to realize that suffering and that sacrifice from your age is still with you, and to reconnect with it, to remind yourself of it, of its natural display, and to realize within that discomfort is your own expression, and to not hide from it in the attachment to comfort of collective ideals, of tradition, of society. To understand that you have a duty to both yourself, the individual, and to society. And to harmonize those distinctions is to live heaven on earth. So with that, until next time, bye.